Looking today at Blackthorn, Prunus spinosa, which you can see here mid-April, is so full of flowers. It's incredible. And I came across this huge patch of Blackthorn growing here. And if I just bring the camera around, you can see, and by the sea. It's a really lovely location. And you can see, just looking, how many flowers are covering this tree. It's incredible. It's one of the first ones to come into blossom. And the Blackthorn has its blossom before it gets its leaves. You can just see here on the end, some of the leaves are starting to come out. So those are going to be more of an oval shape, you can see there. The Blackthorn and the hawthorn are quite different because the hawthorn has its leaves first and then it comes into flower, and the Blackthorn has its flowers first and then it comes into leaf. So the hawthorn flowers are going to be covering our countryside pretty much soon in May, whereas these will have faded away. Another aspect is that the Blackthorn flowers, you can see, come down the stem, all the way down the stem, whereas the hawthorn flowers tend to grow in clusters. But they're very similar, they're very delicate and small. They're both from the rose family. They have a nice aroma. And the Blackthorn, you can imagine why it might be called Blackthorn, is because it is full of thorns. If you have a look down here, these are quite big thorns. You know, they're quite long. And you can imagine falling into Blackthorn, all of these thorns, all going all the way up. So the hawthorn thorns are a bit smaller. Now this got a bad reputation, Blackthorn, because back in the day it was thought that witches would use these thorns to stab into dolls, you know, of people maybe they didn't like or wanted to create spells on. It was thought witches were burnt on top of pyres made of Blackthorn. So the black element comes from the wood being darker. People potentially would create staffs where they would put a thorn on the end. Now there was something called Blackthorn poisoning, so if you did have a wound created by one of the thorns, then this, if left, could go infected and septic, causing septicemia. So it has a bit of a bad reputation. It's actually really beautiful, and some people think the Blackthorn is a shrub, but it's a tree and it can grow up to about 100 years old if left alone. So lots of it along here. Prunus spinosa because of the spines, spinosa. You can eat the flowers. They're mildly diuretic and anti-inflammatory, and they can be used for blood cleansing and also skin conditions. I'm not supposed to really eat too many because of some of the chemicals that are within these, but can be dried off. And you can imagine if you've got something like this, I mean, look how many flowers there are, that you could take a few flowers and try them in a tea and help with the blood. The flowers are going to become the dark purple sloes, which we're so familiar with in the hedgerows in the autumn, and those can be used for also blood cleansing, used in gin if you like that kind of thing, and also as dyes. You imagine, like in the past, people would use plants for dyes quite a lot. So lots to get to know about the Blackthorn. If you were to come and sit with the Blackthorn, this, in a healing terms, and magical healing terms, is supposed to help you bring up anything you're not wanting to deal with. So maybe now in April, when the flowers are out, when the berries are out, and you feel that wonderful abundance, sit there and breathe in the air of Blackthorn and maybe see what comes up for you, anything you might wish to clear or rid out of your life by facing it.